Both the House and Senate passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, sending the bill to President Trump to sign into law. Joining us to discuss is legal analyst Bobbie Anne Cox, civil rights attorney and fellow at the Brownstone Institute. So, Bobbie Anne, always great to have you here. Good afternoon. So, if you could just clarify some things up for us. Senators had locked in agreement to pass the Epstein Files bill as soon as it arrived from the House. So, what is the reason that Congress must be involved here?
Basically, Congress is exercising its oversight power. And with that power, they are now passing a law, the House and the Senate, and it'll go to President Trump's desk shortly thereafter. But they're passing a law that is going to compel or force the Department of Justice and the FBI to release files that have to do with Jeffrey Epstein and the investigation into the allegations about sexual assault and sex trafficking and child trafficking and such. So they are exercising their oversight power, and this is something that is wildly popular. As we saw, it passed. There was only one person that voted against it in the House of Representatives yesterday. All the other members of the House, whether they were Republican or Democrat, voted to pass this law. And then the Senate, before the law even arrived the bill even arrived into the Senate agreed unanimously. So that's all the senators, whether they were Democrat or Republican, decided that they were going to vote in favor of this bill as soon as it came into the Senate. So effectively, it has passed both the Senate and the House of Representatives. So the next step is it would go to the president's desk for his signature, and then that it would officially become law. And then once passed and signed into law, then the Department of Justice and the FBI would have 30 days to turn over or make public those files. Anything that's not classified, of course, classified information will remain classified, and redactions can be made. So, we'll see. 30 days once it's signed into law.
Right, and President Trump has indicated publicly that he will, in fact, sign it into law. So, Bobbie Anne, would you characterize this bill? The purpose here is solely about transparency and accountability.
I would say it is mostly about transparency and accountability, of course. So this was really spearheaded by one of the Republican members of the House of Representatives, Representative Thomas Massie. He is the one that drafted this. It was co-sponsored by a Democrat as well. And he forced the vote to take place on the floor, on the House of Representatives floor. So he forced it to a vote. And as we saw yesterday, it passed overwhelmingly. As I said previously, only one member of the House of Representatives voted against it. So they voted, it was almost a unanimous vote, and it passed. So yes, this is something that is the purpose is to reveal what the investigation thus far by the FBI and the Department of Justice has revealed and make that public. I mean, the law that the bill that they're passing right now requires that the files, anything that is not classified, be released to the public and be in a searchable, downloadable format. So it's very specific, actually, the law itself, in how these files need to be released. So yes, it is about accountability and transparency. They want Americans to be able to look at the documents themselves, and accountability. Yeah, they want that too, because we've heard a lot of whispers and rumors about names of high-profile individuals, both American and abroad, that are supposedly involved or were involved with Jeffrey Epstein and Epstein Island. So, this is what the public wants. And apparently it's what Congress wants too, because it has passed overwhelmingly.
So in terms of the release of the files and redactions as well, is there a role that judges will play in this?
Well, at this point, there aren't judges involved. Right now, we're dealing with the other two branches of government. We're dealing with Congress, which is the legislative branch, and we're dealing with the president and the executive branch. That's the Department of Justice and the FBI both sit in the executive branch under the president. So we're dealing with those two branches of government right now. The courts are not involved in this specific issue at this point. So as far as redactions are concerned, that would be something that either the Department of Justice or the FBI could do. The law does have a provision that says that, sensitive information, for example, sensitive information about any of the victims would be redacted or can be redacted by the Department of Justice or the FBI prior to releasing the information to the public. And obviously that is for, we want to protect those people and their names and their private information, especially if these, alleged sexual assaults happened when they were children. So that is very important. So there will be redactions, I'm sure, and the law has provided for that. So we'll see what comes out. If the president does sign this into law, in 30 days time, we'll see what comes out and what is redacted.
So, Bobbie Anne, what do you think might happen after those 30 days when we see the files? Could the materials potentially support civil action, new ones?
Yes. So that is something that could take place, that could happen. If somebody was sexually abused or, trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, even though he is deceased, as you know, he died in 2019, and we're now in 2025. So, 6 years later, you can, as a victim, you can still sue the estate of the deceased person. However, you do have to be careful because, you do have statute of limitations that could come into play. And every state is somewhat different in their statute of limitations on how long after a sexual assault occurs that you can file a civil lawsuit against that person or their estate. And then at the federal level, there wouldn't be a statute of limitations, but, you have to have a private right of action. So it is a little bit tricky because of the statute of limitations. And it depends on the date of death of the accused and the age of the victim. So there are different things that go into that equation. But ultimately, if all things fall into place, then we could see some civil lawsuits come out of this once the information and the files are made public. But there was a compensation fund that was set up by Jeffrey Epstein's estate, and that ran from 2020 to 2021. And in that approximately 1 year time period, the estate had a fund specifically for those who were victims, and they could get compensated from that fund. And of course, they had to sign a release and a waiver saying that they weren't going to sue Jeffrey Epstein's estate or any of his employees and such. And associates that worked for him. So, but yes, there were many people that took many victims that took advantage of that instead of going through the lengthy process of having a lawsuit against the estate. So that was another way that people were compensated. So yes, we'll have to see what comes out if the president signs this into law and see if there are any civil cases that result from it.
Well, all right, Bobbie Anne, those were just some things I was wondering today. Thank you for speaking with us.
Yes, thanks for having me on.